So now we're going into the wands, and here we have, as the Ace of Wands, we have, I believe his name is Judas, but he's also known as a Phantom Stranger. So the Phantom Stranger is someone very, very powerful and magical, almost to the counterpart aspect of the Spectre. He only shows up when he is needed, and so, or when something interesting happens where he feels like he needs to be there. And so we kind of see what I could imagine is Gotham City. So I could only imagine that something exciting, something very occult, supernatural happened, and Phantom Stranger has stepped in. And so there's this like excitement and mystery behind, like, why is he here? What's going on? And so I like that with the Ace of Wands, because it's kind of like that exciting when, like, you feel like some kind of creativity, there's gonna be some magic going on, like what's happening right now. So I kind of like that there's this mystery quality to this card of, like, why is a Phantom Stranger showing up? Because he only shows up when something fucking crazy is about to happen. So I really like that kind of like energy here. So here's another of my visually stunning cards with the Two of Wands. Here we have Megan Morse, aka Miss Martian. In this card, the best way I could interpret it is that she's an alien, obviously from a different planet, but she has an opportunity because her race of white Martians are seen as villains, and so she's obviously not a villain. She's a part of Teen Titans. She's a superhero, but I could see her here in that struggle of kind of like, did I make a right decision? Did I pick Earth as my home? This is where I want to change my life? Because she's technically running away from her race because it has such a bad rap, and she doesn't want to be associated with that. She wants to do something different with her life. So I could see her kind of in this daydreaming with these two different planets, or a sun or a moon, kind of figuring out, did I make the right decision? What are the different options that I have? What could I've done better? Or just kind of that daydream quality. So I really love this, the look of the card, and the symbolism behind it as well. So I don't know if you remember when I was talking about the Spectre, that there was only one person kind of survived a one-on-one battle with the Spectre. Well, this is the person. So this is Amy Winston, aka Amethyst. She's the Princess of Gemworld. So she is the most powerful magician, sorceress in the DC universe. I know that there's certain reboots that kind of scaled back her powers. A little bit about what's going on here. So you see 3 amethyst crystals in the distance, and you see her in her unicorn, kind of raising her sword in declarance or accepting her right. And so in the story, she is like a little girl, and in her 13th birthday, I believe, she finds out the truth about who she is, that she's a princess from Gemworld, of the House of Amethyst, and her parents were killed by a Dark Lord. I think his name's like Opal or something. And whenever she gets, an ogre ends up taking her from her birthday party and taking her back into Gemworld. And that's when she discovers whenever she goes into Gemworld, she ages. And so she was like 13 in her birthday, but when she entered Gemworld, she turned 20. So here we see her as her 20-year-old self taking claim. She sees the House of Amethyst, and she's accepting, and she's getting excited to find more about her lineage and what her powers are and who she is. And so I like this, the 3 of Wands, of kind of seeing your future, seeing the things that are coming towards you and being excited about them. And it's not the point where you have them yet. They're at a distance, but they're so close that you could literally grab them almost. And so I like that energy from the 3 of Wands with Amethyst. So here for the 4 of Wands, we have the Justice League of America, and then we have, I believe, the Justice Society of America. So it looks like it's time, they're celebrating. It almost looks like it could be like Thanksgiving. Here we see kind of Batman, if you can see them in the corner, not celebrating, kind of sulking there. It's great because we see, I think, Dr. Fate, Plastic Man, The Flash. We have Star Spangled Kid, Batman. We have Captain Marvel, Martian Manhunter, Power Girl, Wonder Woman and Zatanna. And so it just looks like they're all celebrating, and here we see them. It's almost like kind of like the Three of Cups in a way, but the Four of Wands is kind of like time to celebrate it. Let's say they just all teamed up together to fight the big battle, and they won. So now it's time to just relax and have fun. Kind of like the World card is a time to celebrate, but it's a very temporary moment of happiness because there's still more hard work that needs to be done. There's still more battles to be fought, but at this time, let's just unite and come together and have a good time. That's kind of the energy from this card, and I really, really like it. Okay, so here with the Five of Wands, we have Jason Rutsch and Professor Martin. So together they become Firestorm. So these are two people that are, I don't remember what they call it when they whenever they kind of unite together, they become this being Firestorm. So Firestorm physically becomes Jason, and the conscious part of it becomes a professor. So Five of Wands is about conflict, about kind of standing out from the crowd competition. And so here we see both of them having some kind of disagreement, possibly whether of how to handle a situation. He's kind of frustrated that, it's kind of an internal mental battle here, which is really, really cool because that's what the Five of Wands is. You're kind of wrestling with yourself, your own fears, your doubts, trying to do something that you want, kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. And so I like that there's this internal mental battle going on with the Firestorm and the Professor as a conscious. And so it's really cool to kind of see this kind of put together and depicted. Okay, so for the Six of Wands, this is so good. Because normally Six of Wands, you see a person riding on a horse, kind of celebrating, but he kind of looks kind of like down on his face. Here we have, what's his name? John Carter, aka Booster Gold. So Booster Gold is so douchey too, but it's in a very lovable way because he loves the limelight. He's a superhero that likes to be, it's almost like if the Justice League, Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman all like fought this thing and then they won, they will go home and rest and relax, but Booster Gold will be the one talking to the news, getting his interview and his picture taken. Like, this is someone that loves fame. And so it's really, really funny to see him as a Six of Wands, which is all about celebration, about being in the limelight. And so it's funny because all the cameras are pointing at it. It's kind of being the center of attention here. That we all, almost like that sense of victory, of celebrating. So it's so funny. And I like this card a lot. Okay, so here for the Seven of Wands, we have the Demon Etrigan, which is a very interesting card because normally you see someone kind of either going to like a higher ground to get away from these other 7 or 6 wands or whatever that's coming towards us. But here we have pitchforks and sharp objects with flames coming after the Demon Etrigan. And so the Demon Etrigan is actually kind of good because he takes over the body of a human, which gives him his humility and his compassion. So because it's almost like that Frankenstein of people fearing the unknown. So it's almost like I have to win over the situation. I have to figure out, like, it's almost like, how do I get people to like me? How do I get them to realize that I'm doing good? I'm here to do good, even though my appearance, may be scary. That I need to win them over. So this is kind of like that struggle of like, there is something to prove, that there's an opportunity here to correct something, to make something right, which I really like with the Demon Etrigan. And there's also like a need of defense, of self-defense, of I need to protect myself. I need to disconnect from some of these people so that I can protect myself, put my shields up. So I really like the message here of this card. Okay, so here we have Barry Allen as the Flash with the Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands obviously is things moving very quickly, kind of success, things are like escalating, almost like that light at the end of a tunnel kind of thing. So here, what I'm kind of led to imagine is kind of like the Barry Allen when he gets struck by lightning for the first time and that gives him his powers. This is him realizing how fast he could go and putting on the suit for his first time and racing and realizing that everything is just going to move forward. Again, the cards are all temporary, so this doesn't mean that things are going to move forward all the time. Stuff's going to happen, get in the way, roadblocks, but at this moment right here, this is him zooming past, going really, really fast, skyrocketing, and being very, very excited about these changes that are happening. Okay, so here, as the Nine of Wands, brilliant card as well, we have Helena Bertinelli as the Huntress. So a little bit of this backstory, Helena witnessed her parents' murder, and so she sought vengeance on them. And the Nine of Wands is about not giving up. So here we see her wounded as an adult, as a huntress, getting probably so close to finding out who murdered her parents. And so she's at the point where, like, I can't not give up. I have to keep fighting. There's, what if I give up now and behind this door, behind this building, is the person that killed my family? I have to move forward and push. And so that's the huntress's kind of character. Her willpower is so strong that even though she's wounded and she's exhausted from possibly fighting so many different people, she has to muster up that strength and continue. So this card is just so good to have her as the Nine of Wands, which is also about defense and not giving up, standing your ground. Very brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, so here we have the Ten of Wands, and this is Victor Stone, aka Cyborg. This card's a little bit weird for me. I mean, normally, it does show a little bit of kind of like the iconic image of the Ten of Wands with the man kind of carrying these 10 wands on his back, showing overwhelmness. The one thing I can say about Cyborg is that because he's kind of like half human and actually like human, but mostly cybernetics and robotics, it gives him a greater stamina, and it also allows him to communicate and manipulate computers and technology. So he's sought after by Teen Titans, by Justice League of America, and other kind of leagues. So he's a very, very busy guy. So I could see why they would put him in this card, because it's about taking too many responsibilities, feeling overwhelmed. Obviously, he's even making time to save this bird. I mean, it's just, I could see where you kind of have to know his character to understand a little bit of why he's either smiling, even though he might feel overwhelmed. Maybe he feels like it's part of his role. Like, it's like, I have to be the one to do all these things because people count on me. So I could see why that burden on his back and that having so many responsibilities of like, I need to always be on it, is why he's Cyborg and why he's the Ten of Wands. Okay, so here we have the Page of Wands, and this could either be just the Helmet of Fate or Dr. Fate. So I'm going to go with the Helmet of Fate because I just see the helmet here. So the Helmet of Fate is very, very powerful. It's very ancient magic. It holds, it's a very powerful relic. And so it calls upon people, and whoever puts on the helmet bestows them with great power, but it's only for those seem worthy. So as a Page of Wands is getting that excitement from this helmet of like this, hearing the call of power, of being very excited about the possibilities of all these things that you could create, the things that you could see, the things you could travel and experience, but you don't know yet if it's right for you or if it's going to resonate with you. So this is really cool, like anticipation element here of like, oh my God, what's going to happen when I put on this helmet? Am I going to be the chosen one, or is it going to kill me? So it has this really cool, like I said, mysterious anticipation kind of energy to the Page of Wands that I like. So here we have Justin Arthur, aka the Shining Knight, as the Knight of Wands. So the Shining Knight is someone that it's just, they look cheesy. I mean, he is someone from the Merlin, King Arthur times, that kind of got frozen, I think, in time, and then got thought out in the future. And so he still upholds his kind of like knight look. And so this is why he goes by, what's this called? The Shining Knight. And I believe Justin Arthur, the last name Arthur, he kind of took it to honor King Arthur, since he was a part of the Round Table. So the Knight of Wands for me does have this kind of like riding into something, charging into action without thinking sometimes. Because I think with the helmet, and this kind of gives me this like kind of thick-headedness about like I'm determined to do something, but not really thinking about what's going to happen next, kind of going based on our emotions and our passions and that heat of the moment kind of thing. So I could see in the Knight with that teen-like energy of kind of being hot-headed, kind of being like a bully, kind of just rushing into something without thinking about the consequences, which is very similar kind of with the same of the Knight of Swords, but this one's a little bit more of like a heated kind of passion. So I could see why they would pick the Shining Knight for this, because he always has something where it's just he wants to rush into battle and he wants to save the world and stuff. So I can see it. So here is my homegirl. If you ever wonder why my cat's name's Zatanna, she's why. My cat Zatanna is a black tuxedo cat, and Zatanna is a magical sorceress. Not really a sorceress, she's more of a magician, but she does have magical powers. And so she's with the Queen of Wands here with Zatanna, is that she's also kind of like someone that puts on shows, but she also uses her magic to conjure things to help the Justice League, more really the Justice League Dark. So here we have Zatanna kind of conjuring up a dragon. She's probably on stage. She's probably loves being in the limelight, kind of putting her talents to use. So as a Queen of Wands, I could kind of see that person like an actor or actress that wants to be in the center stage, that wants to be expressing themselves, that wants to be able to manifest wonderful things about things that they're passionate about. And so she's definitely living her dream by being able to not only help save the world, but still entertain people on stage. And so I really like Zatanna for this, and I'm actually really excited to see her in the new Justice League Dark movie that's coming out. It's an animated movie, so I'm really excited to see that because Constantine's in it. I hope that they show Madame Xanadu, because Madame Xanadu is a big part of Justice League Dark, but I'm just getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so here we have Nathaniel Adam, aka Captain Atom. So this card, I was kind of looking at it and kind of being like, why is he the King of Wands? I do see the representation of air, water, earth, and fire here as the element, and possibly him as spirit. So a little bit about Captain Atom. He can manipulate. There's so much that he could do between he can alternate the chemical balances of all kinds of different things. He could transport, he could fly. I mean, there's so much that this person can do. That this is probably why they put him as a King of Wands, because the King of Wands is someone that I could see being very charismatic, being very good at everything, an actor, a singer, a dancer, an artist, like all this kind of things that he's good at. So I could see why they would put him in that, because he's so good at everything and he has so many different abilities that it's really like a long list of things that he's excelled at. So that's as much as I could kind of see of why they would put him here, because he's a very powerful being. Kind of to the point, kind of like how Dr. Manhattan is, but I think this person is more of a human kind of feeling. But yeah, that's the only thing that I could resonate with him, is that he's just so good at everything, and he has so many different abilities, and he's a part of he's the leader of so many different teams, and so I could see that he would just be the right fit for this card.